Hi folks, and welcome to Center Lane. I'm Bruce Hitchin. Today I'm going to tell you about my C5 Corvette. Now, I mentioned in my very first episode how much I love the C5. It's not a car that I was always had a desire to own. I was, more of a Porsche guy growing up. I thought European cars were great. There was a bit of an attitude in my household that American cars were kind of substandard. But this really has turned out to be my favorite car. I like the fact that it is a convertible. I like the fact that it's a stick. I think it looks beautiful. It's a great color. I'm going to tell you more about that story. We'll take this car for a drive and I'll tell you about how I ended up with it. But before we do that, I want to remind you to subscribe to my channel and click the link below so you'll be notified of any future editions. It really is hard to beat the look of a C5, especially in this color. I get so many comments on this car every time I take it out. I get people driving by me and giving me the thumbs up. I always have people saying how pretty it is. So let's take it out for a drive and I'll tell you more about the story. So I'm in my Corvette. Like I say, this is just a really nice ride. I really like the fact that it's feels very good. The ride is relatively smooth for a sports car. And just the power that this car has, it's really quite something. It was never really a big thing for me to have a Corvette, I mean, there was a lot of young guys that really thought they were the coolest cars in the world. Corvette was never really on my list of cars I wanted to get, and no, it wasn't for a long time. It was only after I had bought the Porsche 928 and I was actually in the process of buying my 944. And I had searched for the Porsche 944 all over sort of North America to find a really good one. And I'd made a deal on it, but it looked like that deal wasn't going to go through. And because of that, I was kind of disappointed, but at the same time I thought, well, maybe I can see what other kind of car I might be interested in. And I started scouring the ads and looking at different cars, and then I saw a C5 and I thought, God, that's a beautiful looking car, and that's really what got me interested in Corvettes. Well, I ended up getting my 944 and I thought, oh well, I'll give up on the Corvette. But it was only 6 or 8 months later that the bug got me once again, and I found myself looking through the ads and seeing what Corvettes were available out there, and I really found, because I'm in British Columbia, if I opened up my search and looked into California and Arizona, that there was just so many more cars available, and especially since I was looking for a convertible. There was a lot more convertibles down there. So I found the Corvette in Phoenix. My wife and I got on a plane, flew down there, looked at the car, picked it up, drove it home, and I sort of fell in love with the car. I kind of thought that I would buy it and have it for a few months, and then it would be one of those things that I would sort of check off my bucket list. It was a car that I would have had and had my fun with it and moved on. But now I've got a few cars, and if I was going to sell one of them, it wouldn't be the Corvette. The only reason I would sell the Corvette is to buy another Corvette. It's incredibly reliable. I have really no issues with this car at all. And I haven't done much to it. I mean, I've put this new steering wheel on it, which I think is a huge improvement. I changed the shifter because I never liked the C5 shifter. It was that sort of, seemed like an oversized, almost squarish kind of shape. I just put an aftermarket shifter on it, and I put this wind deflector on it, which makes it nice, because actually right now I'm recording this video. I've got my side windows up, and with this wind deflector, it's pretty calm in here, not a lot of wind. And then when I was at the Corvette Caravan, I was down in Bowling Green last year at the National Corvette Museum. And when they do the Caravan, they have a lot of vendors there. And I put a exhaust system, a Corsa exhaust system on this car. And that is by far the best upgrade I've ever made to any car. Not only does it sound just fantastic, you can sort of hear it bubble along there, but it just gave me a real boost in horsepower. It felt like I gained, I think they say you gain 19 horsepower, and usually they say that and you never notice the difference. This is an upgrade. I really noticed the difference. It just feels more torquey, more powerful, and like I say, it's got that really nice sound to it. Once I got the car home, I joined the BC Corvette Club, and that was a good way to sort of get, touch base with other people that had similar cars. Very sort of like-minded people, it's a lot of people like myself. Most Corvette owners are over 50 years old. I think they say the average Corvette owner is 58, and that might be a little bit low. But it's either people that have loved Corvettes their whole lives and always had one, or it's people that always wanted one and could never afford it, and finally they didn't have a mortgage anymore and they didn't have kids at home and they bought a Corvette. So with me, my story is a little bit different. Like I say, it was never something that I was dreamed about, but I'm sure glad I ended up getting it. But part of it is just that American muscle. American muscle car. There's nothing like it. That very torquey pushrod V8 is a very nice feeling. And the C5 is a pretty sophisticated car too. In its design, in its weight distribution. It handles very well, and it's really comfortable to drive. We drove it all the way to Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I never felt fatigued driving this car. Woohoo! One thing that these C5 Corvettes were always sort of criticized for was cheap interiors. They always said they had cheap interiors. But I have to say, this car is... it's a 2001. It's 19 years old, and it's like a brand new car in here. It's held together really well. Maybe the materials, the feel of them is not what you would find in sort of a BMW or an Audi or something like that. But it's lasted, and it still looks good. And I look at this car and I think, well, this is pretty nice. Like, it's got a nice instrument cluster. It's got a nice layout. It's a great car. Well, that's my story on the C5 Corvette, how I got mine, why I love it so much. If you have a C5 and you want to tell me about what you like so much about yours, then leave a comment down below and let me know. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Click the bell if you want to be notified, and we'll see you next time on Center Lane.